So part number 2. So let me quickly see how long is it. So part number 2 are giving gifts. Giving gifts involve transfer of ownership and is thus similar to transaction. Accordingly, generally forbidden to give gifts on Shabbos. On Yom Tov, however, it is permitted to send many types of items as a gift. The reason is since the sender derives pleasure from sending a gift, he is deemed to be fulfilled in the midst of rejoicing on Yom Tov. That's, if you never heard this explanation, I think it's a very brilliant explanation. So on Shabbos, so let's read one more time. We're going to explain. Giving a gift involves transaction, transfer ownership, and that's similar to transaction. So transfer of ownership, that's regular transaction, and sometimes it would be like somebody would pay you something, or sometimes he would like promise you some things to do, or he did already for you. He walk you docked when you were like away for 3 days, let's say, right? So, and as appreciation to this, right, to what person did, you want to send them a gift. So this gift is going to be a payment. That's for sure transaction. He leaves it or she leaves it, whatever they do, right? If a movable item, they took ownership. Doesn't matter whether or not no money. It's very like definition of transaction. It came from a possession to one person to another. That's it, right? So accordingly, in general, generally forbidden giving gifts on Shabbos. So, but exception. So that's a famous question. If you have guests, like they came to you after the Shabbos start, let's say Friday night, right? So a good example, and they brought you a bottle of wine, a cake, or whatever they brought, their own dish, whatever they brought. Right, so if you're going to eat together, it's not a gift. They just contribute. They brought you something like needs for Shabbos, right? You eat and they eat. There is no problem. Okay. On Shabbos, however, it is permitted to send many on Yom Tov. I'm sorry. On Yom Tov, however, it is permitted to send many types of gifts. Right, item is a gift. Why? The reason is that since the sender derives pleasure from sending the gift, and on Yom Tov we must be happy, right? Right. That's the purpose of Yom Tov. Sending the gifts, he is deemed to be fulfilled in the midst of rejoicing on Yom Tov. So everybody, all the normal people, like to give, unless they're sick. And even if they're sick, so Rambam said it's a sickness, right? Stinginess is a sickness, and we have to cure it. Right, and that's why he famously in Halachos Dios said, "How do you cure this person? You start, you take $100, 100 whatever unit, right? And you don't give just to one person, you give to multiple people. And when you give to multiple people, all of the 100 people say thank you, and they're happy and they smile, and you feel bad. Right? Maybe you feel bad in the beginning, but then that you gave, I'm talking about stingy person, but then you feel very good about yourself, and that this feeling is going to change BeEzrat HaShem your character, and you will be very giving person, and you will derive pleasure that you want to give inside, right? Okay, that's why it says that the people, like normal people, they're very happy to give. Okay, continue. The only restriction of sending gifts on Yom Tov is that when an unfinished product is sent as a gift, it must be possible that the recipient to prepare it for the use of Yom Tov. For example, one may send a cut of raw meat as a gift, since the recipient is able to cook in Yom Tov. This is permitted even if the sender knows that the receiver will not use the meat on Yom Tov. However, it is forbidden to give a child a toy that needs to be assembled, assuming the assembly would violate a Melachah, since the toy cannot be made fit for a Yom Tov. Yom Tov. Okay, so let me see next paragraph. Okay, we leave the next paragraph. Let's do this one, and we're going to explain. Very interesting. Right, so restriction. So we say on Yom Tov we can give gifts because it's bring you joy, but the problem could be with unfinished product. So if it's piece of meat, and they say there is no problem, so they can cook the meat, right? Like from the beginning, make a stew, whatever they're going to make, and that's good. So of course, it's not frozen. So if it's frozen, it would not be allowed because it takes time to defrost, right? We say fresh meat, okay. But something that for example, this toy that requires assembly. I guess in a permanent fashion, right? Maybe with the nuts and bolts, like screws. So that would be like forbidden on Yom Tov, right? So some assembly require Melachah, some of them not. Okay, so all of this unfinished product, unfinished gifts or toys in this case that require assembly, so would not be allowed, right? And if as I said, maybe they're using the screws or like permanent attachment. What is the permanent attachment? Sometimes like you snap, right? You snap together and that's it. So it would be very hard to take it apart. So that's for sure is a problem. So continue. A finished product may be sent as a gift, even if it's used. One more thing we said about this raw meat. So technically they can use it today, but if they desire to use it for another time, it's their own business. But you send it on time, like let's say on a Yom Tov morning, if they would want to cook it, right? So until the husband comes from social, she has enough time, like 2-3 hours she has to cook, no problem. Okay. So continue. A finished product may be sent as a gift, even if it is used to preclude on Yom Tov. Use preclude on Yom Tov. For example, it is permitted to send the tefillin as a gift, even though they are not worn on Yom Tov. So before we continue, let's try to understand this thing about tefillin. So is it allowed to wear tefillin on Yom Tov? Technically, yes. So of course, without the blessing, if somebody wants to show somebody like he's training his son, who is going to be bar mitzvah soon, how to use tefillin, technically there is or he wants they learn the laws of tefillin and he wants to explain this knot. You understand this knot? I don't understand. So let me show you on Shabbos, right? So he can show this knot of tefillin because it is for constructive purpose, for the purpose of learning, right? So I guess same is here. One more time, finished product may be sent as a gift, even a use is precluded on Yom Tov, right? So finished product, but it's not 100% muktzah, right? For example, permitted to send tefillin as a gift, even though it cannot be worn on Yom Tov. But as we said, it can be learned for learning, right? Can be used for learning. In all of the above cases, it is permitted to carry the item through the public domain, right? We said one of the leniencies of Yom Tov, you are allowed to carry even there is no eruv, right? So that's good, right? Its delivery is considered a Yom Tov need, right? Because gifts to make person happy, even though the item will not actually be used on Yom Tov. Since by delivering it, the sender fulfilled the mitzvah of rejoicing on Yom Tov, right? So that's a very good reason. So you're happy, or you made somebody happy, and that's it.